This is Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, commencing the Wales Ragchew Net. Surprise, I'm here. Yeah, last week we had a little bit of a problem with the network, but of course we're here this week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the log screen and we'll load up. And of course what we're going to do is we're going to see who would like to check in to the Wales Ragchew Net. And yeah, the log doesn't want to seem to work there. Yeah, that's all the fun there, but yeah, it's not working. I'm sure I will get it working sometime through the net. So if you'd like to check in, go ahead with your call sign, name and location to be number 1.
Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa, Michael at Lebanon, Tennessee, United States of America, checking into the Wales Ragchew Net. And it wouldn't be a good net without some gremlins playing around on the outside.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, yeah, some little gremlins playing around, but of course, yeah, I have that video on the beginning, up in the top left-hand corner, playing the audio from a different source. Yeah, by doing the audio from a different source, the computer was over-processing a little bit there. So, if you'd like to be number 2 into the Wales Ragchew Net, go ahead with your call sign, name and location.
GW5VOG/2W0VOG, Stephen Penarth in South Wales. Good evening, Michael, and good evening, Chris. I'm back to you, Chris.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, yeah, got you good evening, and then it did crumble a little bit over this side of the network anyway. But I've got you in GW5VOG, if you'd like to be number 3 into the Wales Ragchew Net. Go ahead with your call sign, name and location.
0 EUZ, Rod in Cambridge.
Yep, got you there, Rod, G0EUZ. So, if you'd like to be number 4 into the Wales Ragchew Net, go ahead with your call sign, name and location.
2E0VWJ.
Yeah, 2E0VWJ, I know that is James, and he doesn't have a DMR ID. Yeah, that's all good there, so got you in the log. So, if you'd like to be number 5 into the Wales Ragchew Net, go ahead with your call sign, name and location. Okay, nothing heard. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go round the list, and then we'll call for check-ins when we get down again to number 4 after James. So, we go round to Michael, Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa. Let's see what you've been up to this week.
Thank you, Chris. This is Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa, and where it's about 56 degrees, or well, roughly about 11 degrees Celsius here in Tennessee. We have some rain moving in. Be here for the rest of the weekend, so I'll probably spend some time inside this week, or this weekend anyway. We've got college football on the TV. Army plays Navy today, and me being a former Navy guy, guess what I'm cheering for? Navy all the way. We've been doing some Nashville stuff this week for the transplant, so I haven't done a whole lot of radio this week, but better days are coming, I'm sure, as far as the radio goes. Good to hear from Rod and Stephen. Stephen and I had a conversation last week, just the two of us, almost like having simplex. And with that, I'll turn it back to you, Chris. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, thanks very much there. Michael, and of course, yeah, it was a bit of a boo-boo, the network went down, and of course, yeah, power went, and things needed doing on the system, and then it didn't come up for some of us until like 1 AM our time. So, yeah, presented on the screen at the moment is a post that I put out last week. And the post actually reads, what are we using to connect to the W.D.R.G Wales Digital Radio Group, XLX042D, so we can get an understanding. PyStar does seem to be winning. Then there's WPSD, OpenSpot, Echolink has been added, but it's not the information we were asking for. Of course, yeah, the reason for asking that question is because, of course, we noticed last week that WPSD, it only updates its host files every 8 hours, it seems. So, of course, yeah, when the network goes down, even if it's for half an hour, it's about 8 hours until you can get in on a WPSD. Of course, yeah, it's a bit of a problem. On PyStar, you can pretty much update your host files after an hour, and you can get in. So, what I'm going to do, I was going to go over to G5VOG, but I'm going to see what I've got. So, yeah, we'll see what I've got to talk about behind the blue curtain. So, yeah, meteor storms are expected. Of course, yeah, towards Wales. So, of course, tonight you should be able to see it in the skies. It's an AI image that's been presented. This is Simon MW0GSR. It's his mother visiting Santa at the Welsh Fistiniog Heritage Railway, where we do rota. So, of course, also presented on the screen at this moment is a train there, the Santa Special. Well, I'm going to put it over to Steve, GW5VOG, before I actually have to press the timeout on myself. Over to you there, Steve, GW5VOG.
GW5VOG returning. Thank you, Chris. And yes, as Michael just mentioned, he and I had a little chat last week, wondering where you were. Actually, Michael knew. I don't look at things like that very much. I'm always in a rush to get ready. The storm. It doesn't seem like it's only a week ago. It seems a long way away. I think that was why you had problems. Part of my roof blew off. I lost about 6, 7, 8 tiles, which is still missing now. There's no water coming in though. And I'm over because I don't want to time out, which I would if I started telling you now. So actually my signal here keeps dropping out, so I hope you're hearing this. So back to you, Chris, and can you confirm whether I've come through okay?
Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, yep, you're coming through, not a problem there, Steve. There are a couple of little glitches, but other than that, of course, yeah, you might need to do an update on your hotspot. Of course, yeah, there is an OS upgrade, which doesn't do it on its own. Yeah, you might have to do that. But also, yeah, you are connecting to us via a system connected to us. So that's why you had your simplex conversation last week there with Michael, because you two are both on CQ Northwest. So we go around to Rod G0 EUZ.
G0 EUZ, back to the group. Yes, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Michael, Steve, and Chris. Nice to catch up with you this week. Yeah, I didn't hear anything at all last week because obviously I was on 042D. So yeah, I'd have been, and of course the other hotspot is on southwest or south, is it southwest, I think, yeah. So, yeah, I wouldn't have seen you there either, which is a shame. Really, why I'm busy with all sorts. Sorting the dog out and putting decorations up, putting lights up, etc., etc. So, yeah, you're, Michael, just a touch better than ours. Not a lot. It's been pretty cold, really. I've got a nice fire going at the moment, so I'm quite warm. But, yes. Today was actually a very nice sunny day, although it was cold. Whereas yesterday it was almost dark all day. You know, inside the house, it was. You have to have lights on in every room. Very poor. So, never mind. Back to you, Chris. M7CCS G0EUZ.
Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Wrong day. But yeah, it's all good there. Of course, yeah, you didn't get the training last week. You weren't able to talk to me because of the XLX being down there. But yeah, it's not a problem. We've got more to talk about this week. It means, but of course, yeah, we'll find out how those antennas fared out. And what happened there, and of course, yeah, we'll probably get a double dose of foodball, and of course, yeah, we've got 2 weeks to catch on what everyone's been at, but I have spoken to James. I was speaking to him on Simplex last night, and then over on this system. So, over to you there, James. 2E0 Victor Whiskey Juliet.
Victor Whiskey Juliet Narrowboat Portable this evening. Yeah, it's last weekend was rather wild. I was on the boat, and that was a bit of an experience because between two locks it has to be sort of reasonably loosely roped. So every time the wind sort of caught it and bobbed it about, I was sort of like being on the high seas almost. It was quite fun actually. I thought it was probably the best place to be in those storms because it was quite cosy and warm, and well, you might as well be swimming in some water. But yeah, and I got home back to the house, which is a bit of an old cottage, to my surprise, without any damage, which is unusual really. There's normally some slate come off the roof. But yeah, and I had some friends round and actually cooked a turkey and did a Christmas lunch at home. With the old solid fuel Rayburn, which was quite nice and toasty. But yeah, as the other station said, some of the days are and I think it's short-lived. I think once you get through into January, the daylight comes back, but it's certainly a grim time of year as far as daylight's concerned. Anyway, I'll keep it short, and I'll pass it back to Chris from 2E0 VWJ Narrowboat Portable.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, thanks very much there, James. And of course, yeah, if you have got a chance to see the live stream, well, anyone watching the live stream will see you are in there. James, YSX, PDN Narrow Mode Portable. So that's all good. It's time to call for some check-ins. So if you'd like to be number 5 into the Wales Ragchew Net, go ahead with your call sign, name and location, and an over. Okay, nothing's heard. Strictly Come Dancing must be very, very interesting. Hi. So, what we do is just go round the list, and of course, by going round the list, then people still know we're here, and then, of course, yeah, if anyone's there, then we can actually call them in. So, top of the list is Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa. We're going to fill that number 5. I'll put myself in. M7CCS. Put myself in because I am in the net as net control. Over to you there, Michael. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
Thanks, Chris. This is Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa. Good to have everybody here today. It's our usual suspects, it appears, plus Daryl. And so I'm glad we got to get together this week. Missed everybody last week, except for Stephen. He and I had a great little conversation going. But glad to have everybody back and going strong like we were before. Like I said, we've had quite a few doctor visits this week, so I haven't had a chance to do a whole lot of radio work this week. But got a little let down. My wife is not going on the transplant list at this point in time. We still have some more tests and scans and studies to do before we get there, so that kind of delays everything. But we're hopeful that down the line she'll get on the transplant list, and we'll be looking for a new liver very soon. Like I said, a little disappointing, but we'll get through it. And I'll save my food porn for a later time, but like I say, I'm looking forward to it. We're almost at the peak of the solar cycle. Hope everybody's making some great contacts out there. I know it's been very impressive, especially on 10 meters this last few weeks for me anyway, except for this one. And looking forward to the top of the peak and see how it goes. I'll turn it back to you, Chris. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, thanks very much there, Michael. And of course, yeah, I have heard that 10 metres has got quite an opening. I do know that you were trying to get the guys in Scotland, I think from the Wednesday now. I haven't been over there for a long time. I think you still go in there. Of course, yeah, the guys over in Scotland are doing that, don't they? Can't remember where now, but I'm sure with a bit of research I'll find it again. And I think it was Simon who used to run the net, a guy called Simon in Scotland. Of course, yeah, I think you were trying to get him on FT8. So we're going to go round to Steve now, GW5 VOG. Round to you there.
GW5 VOG returning. Thank you, Chris. Good evening, Rod. Good evening, James. Yeah, James, you were saying about the how depressing it is with the short days now. What we need is some sort of celebration where we eat and drink.
Didn't hear anything, so I'll give another call for GW5 VOG.
For a couple of days, on last Tuesday, I went to Kew Gardens, which for the benefit of Michael is a very large, world-famous in the west of London, in the world, but apart from the Garden of Eden, that is, I expect. Okay, and they had a Winter Wonderland light show. That's what we got to see in the evening. Lots of very, very clever illuminations. Lots of things lighting up in time to classical music and that kind of thing. Some amazing laser light shows and that. It's one of those things, though, it's a little bit like a firework display. When you get to the end of it, you're a bit sort of fed up with the same bash wallop thing going. You have to walk around a sort of 2-mile, 3-mile circuit of the thing with these light shows all the way. And when you got to the end, which was like the crescendo and the amazing laser show across a lake, you were a bit sort of, oh, yeah, I've seen it all now. Anyway, that's just me. I'm a bit miserable, maybe. Anyway, it was a nice night. We went to here's some food porn. We went to a very, very nice Thai restaurant in Richmond after, and had a very, very nice little sort of sea bass in sort of crouton thingies or something like that. Very, very nice it was, with lovely dips and bits and pieces and that kind of thing. So yeah, that was very, very nice. Okay, so I'll go on to day 2, my next over, so I don't time out. So M7CCS from GW5EOG, back to you, Chris.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. People normally want the timeout. They want to see the new timeout. But, of course, yeah, it's all good there. People tend to keep an eye on their timeout now. But, of course, yeah, it's all in the fun of the interactivity of the live stream there. Of course, if someone times out, it comes up on the screen. And, of course, yeah, it does put a noise across as well, if you've got the volume turned up. So we'll go round to Rod G0 EUZ.
G0 EUZ, back to the net. Yeah, that sounds brilliant, Steve. Sounds very interesting. I've not been to London for years now. Can't remember the last time. Probably a completely different place to when I used to go. And that wasn't very often, but yeah, it sounds interesting. And Michael, yeah, sorry about problems getting on the list. They're certainly making a jump through some hoops, aren't they? But that's the way it is, I suppose. Like I say, I've not done any radio this week, but I did the week before. I did quite a bit on 10 weeks. I can't get much in the way of contacts. I didn't work any new countries, and I struggle really with sort of DX countries. In fact, the only contacts I had were European contacts, really, and I only tried them just to see if I was working, and obviously I was. So it's a shame. But I did try, that's the main thing. Indoors, so I had no trouble with the the wind blowing my antennas at all. What else has been going on? Nothing really. It's been quite a boring time this last few weeks. So I've had plenty to do, but not achieved much, shall we say. So back to you, Chris. M7CCS G0 EUZ.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Well, of course, yeah, not much achieved there, but of course, yeah, it's hard to achieve some stuff, isn't it, with the weather not too good. So, yeah, what do we have from the storm? So, there's a gazebo that needs to be clapped down and going in the bin that's in the garden. There is also, what else is that needs doing? There's the actual gate. It's missing 4 panels because of the wind. So, and of course, yeah, there's debris around the garden and stuff. So, yeah, there's still stuff to do in the garden. The rabbits didn't go flying. Going for a flying lesson, so that was all okay. Next door's fence was a casualty. One of their back fences and their front fence. So, yeah, and I had a casualty in Christmas lights, but it was just, you know, a wire that can be reconnected, and it was easily sorted. So, and of course, yeah, radio-wise, of course, yeah, I get on radio when I can, so I'm on in the week. I normally talk to Ron and Hans, and of course, Andy and Mark in the mornings, so, of course, yeah, we have a little bit of a chat there into the afternoon. I go and take Bella, the dog, out for a walk. So, of course, I can use the Gateway MB6IPG-L straight into the network and the FT70 while I'm walking the dog. So it works out pretty well. You get some strange looks when you're walking around, walking the dog, and Australia's coming through the radio. But it's all good. So we're going to go round to James now, 2E0 Victor Whiskey Juliet, a friend that I actually made on the radio since having my antenna array up. Yeah, thanks for the new roof, and I got the antenna array up, and yeah, make more friends on Simplex there. So over to you there, James, 2E0 Victor Whiskey Juliet on WiresX PDN mode, narrowboat portable.
VW8 for returning. Yes, I've had quite a productive week. I had a friend come round and where I work on my cars, and I sort of like starting to get a bit over with bits and pieces here and everywhere. I said, oh, excuse the mess, and he said, oh, you ought to put an extra, like a roof, you know, like a mezzanine sort of second layer. And so once the idea was born, I've been busy erecting that up, so that's been keeping me very busy every time there's a moment. But it's got to that moment where I can actually spread my wings now and put everything neatly away and find stuff, which would also mean I can get on with a few projects that have just been pushed to one side because of lack of space almost. So that's quite exciting. But yeah, through Chris about YSF and inroads on how to connect, and yeah, I did do a little bit of but I did find that quite quiet actually, not much joy there. But yeah, it's quite amazing if you've got something else squeezed into the week how quickly the time goes. But yeah, it's been busy constructing the new workshop. So I'll keep it short because my internet connection isn't too brilliant, and I'll pass it back round to Chris from 2E0 VWJ Narrowboat Portable.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Well, yeah, not to worry there about it. The internet being a little bit bad, but of course, yeah, it's understandable. And like you said, you've got that pub there where people are all using phones, so it takes your bandwidth, doesn't it? So we're down to the bottom of the list. So what we're going to do is we're going to present the screen and see if anyone else would like to call in to the Wales Ragchew Net. If you would, go ahead with your call sign, name and location, and an over.
To Whiskey 1, Tango Echo Romeo in my living room, trying to decide what to have for Christmas dinner.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, thanks very much there, Monty. Maybe you can enlighten us with an over there. And, of course, yeah, in your living room. So, back over to you there, Monty. 2W1TER. We're dying to see this time out, but no one's hit it yet. Over to you there, 2W1TER.
To Whiskey 1, Tango Echo Romeo. Well, I'll try for the timeout. I don't know if I can waffle that long. Yeah, well, I've been deciding what to buy. I don't know whether to get a duck in. I do like ducks, see. And you can get some nice, really nice crispy roast potatoes off duck fat, can't you? Just drop them in the pan underneath. Oh, I'm starting to slava now. Because I don't like duck, I like orange and all that. I don't mind wild berry sauce, but orange, no. I just don't like it. But yeah, I might treat myself to a proper bit of duck from the butcher's. Normally I go down Morrison, Tesco's, and you can get those duck pancake roll kits, can't you, for like £6. And you get a nice bit of duck in that. For the money, like, you know, get a big leg or a breast or something, it's not too bad. Half a duck for £6. But they don't cook as well, because they've been pre-cooked. So I think I might get a fresh one, and rack it, and warm it, and let all the fat dribble out all over the potatoes. But then you're only cooking for yourself, see, so it becomes a bit of a palaver after a while, so then you get bored and you end up putting something like sweet corn in the microwave and just making up some bisto gravy. So it's half a roast dinner, really, isn't it? The other half, poppy ping roasty dinner. But then I've got to struggle with what to have for pudding. Yeah. Oh, and if anybody knows that deep heat stuff, if anybody knows of any of that deep heat stuff, but with a bit more burn to it. Yeah, I know, sounds a bit kinky, doesn't it? But, no, I need something a bit more flamey.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. You didn't quite hit the time, mate. But of course, yeah, I've managed to put the time out on as well, and talk over it. So, yeah, you did actually manage to hit the time, mate. So, yeah, a little bit annoying, isn't it, for anybody with sound. But, yeah, we've changed that time out now. I can hear it coming back through the YouTube. So yeah, we've hit it on you, because it looked like you might time out. So what we're going to do, we're going to see if anybody else wants to check into the Wales Ragchew Net. If you would, go ahead with your call sign, name and location, and an over. Okay, nothing heard there. So, what we do, we go up to the top of the list again. We go back to Michael, Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo, India Papa.
Thanks, Chris. It's Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo, India Papa. And we'll go ahead and, while I was still getting it on my mind, do our food porn for the week. It's been kind of a pasta Italian week this week. We had a tortellini soup that we had 20. It was kind of more like a stew, I would say, with stuffed tortellinis in it, with lots of cheese, put Parmesan cheese on the top of it, and it was a creamy tomatoey type sauce. We also had these Hawaiian rolls. I don't know if you have Hawaiian rolls over there. They're kind of sweet and savory at the same time. Cut them open and put some pepperoni slices in the middle of that with some cheese on that, and we had those two. Then we had a rigatoni meal earlier this week. Rigatoni noodle pastas in it with white sauce and chicken, and it was very, very tasty. And that was about what we got for this week. And I don't remember what else I was going to say. Oh, my wife and I have gone to, I guess you would call it Aldi Nord, which we call it here is Trader Joe's. We usually accept some European stuff over there, some dark chocolate cookies, and those are very tasty. And for that, I guess it's done for now. Before I time out, I'll turn it back to you, Chris. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, thanks very much. So, yeah, remembering, what did I do today? So today we went to Donna's nephew's birthday bash. It's not till Thursday, his birthday. It's going to be 5. But we went for a meal at a place called The Hungry Horse. So I had a mixed grill. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I had today. Of course, yeah, I've got some, yeah, I can't even announce what they are, but I like them. They must be from one of the German, Lidl, yeah, one of the German stores. Leberkuchen Assortment, they're called. I might be pronouncing that wrong, I think it's German. But yeah, I do enjoy them. They kind of melt in your mouth. So I've been bought some of them. So yeah, they're interesting. And of course, yeah, there's other food that I've had this week, but trying to remember, and of course trying to remember 2 weeks worth as well. Yeah, not good. But it's not a problem. So we're going to go over to GW5 VOG. Steve, I bet he had some expensive meals in London.
Right. Anyway, the second day we were there, we went to the matinee of the pantomime at the London Palladium. There was me and my wife, both my sons, my youngest son's girlfriend that lives with him, and two of her uncles, and her mum and dad. So that was, oh, and there was another guy came along with the uncles, but he didn't come for the meal after. But at the meal, we went to Cote in Soho, which is probably the best Cote that you could ever go to. Cote isn't amazing, it's quite nice, but these days it's a little bit hit and miss. Whether it's good or not, but depending where you are, of course. But this one in Soho is always brilliant. There was 10 of us. It only cost, I can't remember what the total was. I paid £130, I think, for, and that was for 3 people. But it was a kind of strange situation because before we'd started eating, the waiter brought some bottles of wine and a couple of bottles of beer, and he tripped up somehow. The only thing that happened was he didn't drop the tray, but the beer bottle, one of the beer bottles, tipped over and discharged its contents onto my eldest son's lovely down jacket. He wasn't there at the time. He'd gone to the loo, and the jacket was over the back of the chair. A little bit of it went on me, but nothing serious. So there's a bit of a kerfuffle, and I think they didn't charge us for the. Anyway, we weren't satisfied with that. My wife gets her phone out, and she's got Coate's app on her phone, and she says, "Oh look, it says here, anyone who goes to Cote who orders a main can get a free cocktail." So she asks the waiter. He says, "Oh, I don't know about that." Anyway, we ended up with the manager coming, and she said, "It's got to be like put through when you book." Ray, did I time out there, Chris? Back to you, or have I cut off?
You did time out there. Unfortunately, you actually did time out, and that's what seemed to have happened there, Steve. So what I'm going to do now is I will put it round to G0 EUZ.
G0 EUZ. Yeah. Well, that sounds good there, Steve, but be interesting to hear the end of the tale on your next over. But yeah, it all sounds brilliant, and I must admit I hate going for a meal with big parties, because you can talk to, if you're lucky, the people on either side of you, but you can't talk to everybody, of course, you miss out on a lot of the conversation. I seem to have quite intimate gatherings, really, and they were better for me. But we haven't been out for ages. Me and my wife are quite happy to stop in one evening and get comfortable. Her in her room and me in my room. With our own TVs. And of course, I've got the fire. She hasn't, unfortunately. But there we go. So what else? What else is there? I don't think there is anything, really. Obviously, I've been taking the dog Wednesday and Sunday, half an hour in a secure dog field with his litter brother. They get a good charge round and a good exercise. It's the only time you can let them off together. You know, because whilst ours normally is quite obedient, theirs isn't. So, I mean, we're going again tomorrow. I think it's about 11:30 tomorrow in the morning. So that would be great. So, back to you, Chris. M7CCS G0 TUZ.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, thanks very much there, Rod. Yeah, you were getting near the time out, but I think you're watching the timer. So, we're going to go round to 2E0VWJ, James, on his narrowboat portable, with the dodgy internet connection, but you're still getting through to us there, James. Over to you there.
Portable returning. Yes, on the topic of cooking Christmas lunch, I did a turkey. I cooked a turkey this week for some friends who come round and did a dinner. And it sort of started last year, where previous years I've cooked turkeys with varying results from burnt to raw. And I was starting to think, what was the best way to cook it? And I researched, because I'd normally cook, I thought to myself, well, I'd normally cook a joint of meat in a cast iron pot, really, really slowly, like a slow cooker. Researched it, and cook it for 12 hours overnight on the lowest possible setting. And I did that last year, and I had the most fabulous results, and I did it again this week, and I was utterly amazed. It's a bit scary putting something in the oven at midnight and then waking up in the morning thinking, oh my God, what's it going to be? But absolutely fabulous. Just neat, all tightly wrapped up in a nice big cooking pot. So that was my success for this week. I'll keep it short because I know my internet connection isn't too hot. From 2E0, VWJ Narrowboat Portable.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, yeah, not a problem there, it's all good. But of course, yeah, it breaks up a little bit. You need to get an antenna on there, then go through GV3GM, or, well, not my gateway, I wasn't doing the Ragchew, it plays up a little bit. It plays up a little bit. Because of the audio coming back through the computer, YSF radios, when it's the gateway, it doesn't like secondary audio coming back at it. It tends to reset the transceiver and then it'll bring it back. And it does it every so often. But we are sorting that. Santa's bought a PC for it so that it'll be on its own. Presenting out the WiresX thing, yeah, I may find a way, but I may not. But it doesn't really matter whether I present the WiresX out, but I occasionally just refresh that picture up the top, and it shows everything that is in on the WiresX on the live stream. And so, what we're going to do now is we are going to go round to Monty, 2W1TR.
Yeah, 251 Tango Echo Romeo. Yeah, cooking and slow cook is great. But yeah, or cooking something slow. But yeah, go to bed with the oven on. Yeah, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Worry a bit. I'm not too sure of that. I'm going to use the old air fryer. I think they're pretty good, actually. Especially if you live alone. But there you go. Pizza for tonight. Yeah, not a lot's happened over this way, really. The storm put a kibosh and everything, and everybody's hunkered down. Well, I have. And everybody just stayed indoors, and I think it's overstayed, you know, that feeling, because the storm's over. I haven't wanted to go anywhere. I did have to pop out and try and find my bins. That was a good adventure up and down the road looking for my bins. To get them all back together, except one of them, we have these plastic like tubs you got to put stuff in, and one of them had smashed to pieces. There's a hole in the bottom. So I've got to order a new one of them from the council. But yeah, that's the excitement of the week, that is. Broken recycling bin. Whoa, the life we live, eh? The life we live. But nah, nothing else is happening. Not much at all, actually. So, oh yeah, and I've built a Raspberry Pi with a RetroPie gaming machine in. It plays all the old PlayStations and SNES and N64 games. That was a bit of a project I enjoyed, and that's plugged into the telly. And I was playing Sonic the Hedgehog last night. That was quite a bit of a blast from the past for the old boys who used to play games. But yeah, I've got another project to do. That one definitely timed out because it beats my end.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, yeah, definitely did time out there, Monty. And of course, yeah, it's all good to be able to get those retro games and everything else there and play them there. And you look at the graphics and you think, we really used to play them with these graphics. But yeah, it's all good. So what we'll do now, we'll call out and we'll see if anybody else would like to join the Wales Ragchew Net. If you would, go along, call out with your call sign, name and location, and an over. Okay, right, I think M0OKW, he might be lurking somewhere. Let's check the XLX. So, no, he's actually not lurking. He was lurking earlier on, but he'd have to key the 13 up to hear us again. But, or he might be hearing us, he might not, I'm not sure. But he's definitely not in on the XLX, but he was earlier. So, yeah, I thought he might be listening somewhere. I know that, what's that, Daryl and Mrs. Daryl, they're normally listening, MW0 TGIF, so of course, yeah, we'll put him in as listening, so I know he's normally listening, so it's good to get him in the log there. So what we're going to do, we go back up to the top of the list, we go to Michael, Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
Chris, this is Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa, and I forgot to mention before, yes, Simon is still doing the Scotland Chat Net on Wednesday after, well, it's Wednesday after my time, and he's still in charge of it and still doing it, and I get to get those videos every Wednesday afternoon. I guess it's about 8 o'clock their time, and 8 p.m., and so we do have a good time, and I've been trying to make contact. It's funny about that, though, you can be off just a little bit and miss somebody totally, even on FD8. Stephen, sounds like you had a great time in London. I remember the first time I went to London was about 1980, and I was on the USS Saipan with the amphibious assault ship, and we pulled into Southampton and also Portsmouth. Love Southampton, beautiful town. Portsmouth was very good too. But London, we took a tour with the ship's department and hit all the tourist places, the Tower of London, Changing the Guard, Buckingham Palace, Westminster Abbey, all those. And it was probably one of the most memorable stops that I've ever made. So I hope you had a great time in London and you make memories to last the rest of life. And I believe that's all I got for this over, so I'll turn it back to you, Chris. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, thanks very much there, Michael. And of course, yeah, I did forget to say to Monty about his air fryer, be careful, it might be listening to you. But yeah, there was just something I heard from, well, it might be misinformation, it might not be. It was on a main radio station, and they were reading out the newspapers, and there was a quotation from a paper, I think it's called The Eye, some kind of media, saying that, yeah, we already know that our smart devices, our phones and whatever, maybe our cars, may be listening to us, but now apparently our air fryers. But yeah, don't go taking it apart, Mumsy, to find the microphone. Hi. But yeah, it's interesting on that one, and of course, yeah, the way that they will, you know, there's that scaremongery out there. Like that. Of course, none of that was about before the internet, was it? But of course, I'm old enough, and well, we're all old enough on here, and to remember all the scare tactics back coming up in 1999, the Millennium Bug. So, right, we'll go over to GW5VOG. Over to you there, Steve.
GW5VOG returning. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, glad you enjoyed London when you were there in the 80s. Michael, it's changed quite a lot since then. Whether it's for the better, I don't know. I think it's a lot more prosperous than it was then. We probably were either in a bit of a recession then, or about to go into one, or Mrs. Thatcher might have been coming to power, something like that. But yeah, it's definitely a lot more prosperous, especially 2 years ago, before everything went up in price. Anyway, sorry about getting cut off before timing out. I'm the timeout king again. Yeah, so I was telling you the story. My wife found this thing on the that she could have a free cocktail with every main that she bought. And anyway, the upshot was the manageress, probably because they'd thrown beer over us, she was still trying to be nice to us, obviously frightened that we'd give them a bad £30 worth of free drinks on top. So it didn't turn out too expensive really for what it was, but the whole trip has cost a lot of money. The hotel was quite expensive that we stayed in. I just couldn't get, normally I managed to get cheapish rooms somewhere, but I couldn't. So I think it's because it was the run up to Christmas. Anyway, the pantomime was like all pantomimes are. It was a little bit smut and innuendo. It was Julian Clary. UK listeners will know what I mean. But it was very good entertainment. We did it last year, so my youngest son's decided this is a family tradition now that we've got to do every year. So I got to pretend to like it anyway, at least. So yeah, there we are. Yeah, coming back to London, I think I met my wife for a job for about 6 months when I met her. Yay, time out again. I was there for 6 months. She was training for the same job as well, but she wasn't on the same course as me. Anyway, so I quite liked London there. In that 6 months, I had a really, really good time out every night down the West End and that sort of thing. Then when I sort of had a family and we ended up living in South Wales, where my wife is from. And I don't know if the other UK people agree, but if you don't live in London, you kind of don't like it very much. You sort of resent the way everything's centred on London, kind of thing. So we didn't. We went off London then. But then both my sons went to university in London, and they both live in London now, so we like it again now. So here we are, it comes and goes. So I've had 2 goes now, then, which does help to pass the time, I suppose. So with that, back to the net controller, Chris M7CCS.
Charlie Sierra, and there's me seeing that I actually didn't change the transition there. But I did find a couple of articles about the air fryer spying on you. Yeah, it's in some of the like county kind of newses as well. So, but then again, can you ever trust anything online? And probably not. Yeah. And how, you know, they're saying they're in kettles and things like that. But of course, an air fryer. Have you ever heard an air fryer when they're on? They're making like a humming noise, so yeah, they wouldn't be able to monitor you really, would they? Because it would be overwhelmed with that humming noise. Yeah, thoughts on that, anyone? Is your air fryer spying on you? Yeah, we know that smart devices do, because they tend to chirp up and say things when they hear certain little key words, and you don't normally have to say much. We go over to Rod G0 EUZ.
G0 EUZ. Coming right back. Well, yeah. It's a bit scary, that, really. But, yeah, I mean, it might listen to you before it sets off, before it actually starts cooking. But yeah, I mean, my air fryer comes from Aldi, so it's a cheaper. So I should imagine it'll be these ninjas that cost like £200 or £300. And James, that turkey sounds very nice, slow cooked, excellent idea that. It's just having the time, isn't it, to be so on top of it. And yeah, good idea. But I wonder where your narrowboat is moored. I don't know the network really well. My son-in-law's mother, she has a lodge, or 2 actually. And stay. We rent a lodge, and of course they stay in his mother's. But since then, she sold a house and bought another one, a larger one, and a boat, because you can't an address, so her address is actually the boat, although she lives in the lodge. And come the end of the time, she'll, when they close down for a month, she'll go somewhere else. So that'll be interesting. So anyway, before the time out, back to you, Chris. M7CCS G0 EUZ.
Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Well, I did find another one. I did present it. I better present it again now I'm talking about it. Yeah, drones, planes, or UFOs. Michael might know a little bit more about this one, but that was something else that I heard. Apparently coming out of New Jersey. Of course, yeah, I did hear something like that, and Trump wanted to UFOs or drones. We go over to James now on his boat, 2E0 Victor Whiskey Juliet.
Victor Whiskey Juliet, narrowboat portable returning. Yeah. I'm not so sure about the air fryer listening to what's going on, but I did have to. I started a new insurance policy on a classic car, and they sent me an email saying, "Oh, we need more information." And so I rang them up to see what information they needed, and they've been trolling through my Facebook account and questioning where I live, and said, "Oh, we can see a picture of a boat. Are you sure you live in a house?" And something about my occupation. Oh, that was it. I do a little bit of VW wedding car hire, just the odd weekend. It's very rare I do it, really. And they're going, "Oh, you do private hire." So, yeah, certainly your insurance company's staring at you. Whether they're looking for the air fryer is another story. And the turkey, I actually cooked it at exactly 100 degrees, which is like plate warming. It certainly wouldn't burn. And the location of the narrowboat is a place called Kingswood Junction. It's where the Stratford canals meet the Grand Union, which is just there's a big flight of locks there, and that's quite iconic, and it's just north of there. So yeah. What's your insurance company? They might be after your air fryer. VWJ Narrowboat Portable.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Well, that's how they do catch out the illegitimates, isn't it? Yeah, checking the Facebook, but then they question about it. Of course, there's new powers now. If you happen to actually claim a benefit of any kind, they can request up to 4 months, bank statements and stuff like that. So, I'm just trying to get up Grand Canal. There were some lovely pictures before I actually, went on there. So, the Grand Canal, for those that can't get there, it's where James is. Of course, it's darker than that. That picture's more likely. It's darker than that there. But, the Grand Canal with a way in that looks like it's on a bridge. And of course, the lock as well. So, we're representing and being interactive here. I think it's actually bringing out more. And we go round to Monty, 2W1TER.
Yeah, 2 Whiskey One Tango Romeo. Yeah, my air fryer isn't spying on me. It's got no internet connection or anything. So, it's got no way of spying on me. Or reporting it to anyone. It's not that posh. It's Kasari, innit? I think it's something like that. Cost me 70 quid off Amazon. Perfect. Last 2 years has been brilliant. It's paid for itself over and over and over. I really like it. But no, it's definitely not going to spy on me. And to be honest, I don't really care. It's not like I've got that much interest to hide from anybody. I'm sure there's more important people to spy on than me. I've got a mate who's into these conspiracy theories, and he's like, "Oh, I won't have this in the house, won't have that in the house, won't have, turns his phone off." I'm like, mate, why would they be interested in you? You don't do anything. You just stay indoors all day because of conspiracy theories. He's like, "Oh, they're spying on us." But they're not. They're not really interested. They've only got so many resources they can put on people. But yeah, he gets all that. The government's listening into everything. Yeah, not to you, mate. You're too boring. But we'll see. 2 Whiskey One Tango Echo Romeo, handing it back to control.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Well, I often go past a big government building with the radio, because it's not far away from here. But of course, I know I can get to Andy in Evesham. That's pretty much a straight line of sight, but that's quite a few miles. and of course, I know I can get my gateway in Cheltenham. So, yeah, we could be being listened to by the government, because it wouldn't surprise me if they have got some amateur antennas there, and they do listen on the amateur bands and things like that. Of course, you know, amateur radio operators. Yeah, what was it we were watching? We've recently been re-watching The Crown. So, some of our American friends may have watched it, but it's a series based on the monarchy. And, of course, yeah, there was a time when Prince Charles had his mobile phone, and an amateur radio operator disgraced himself, and he ended up basically recording, yeah, then taking it to the news of the world. So I've got food coming here from left, right, and centre at the minute. So, yeah, I've now got a pizza come in front of me. Thank you, Harry. And, of course, yeah, I had some, what were they? They were like cheesy hash browns. So I've had them as well. So, yeah, I'm being asked if I want a drink, so I'll give my cup over and get a drink as well. So, got to remember where we were. We just spoke to Twitter, so we'll see if anybody else would like to join in with the Wales Ragchew Net. If you would, go ahead with your call sign, name and location. Okay, nothing heard. So, apparently tonight we're meant to have the Northern Lights, and of course, yeah, we're going to the pond, Whiskey Alpha 5 Romeo India Papa, where they've apparently got drones, or is it UFOs, and Trump wants to shoot them down. That was what I heard, but of course, yeah, we might hear more about it than you hear about it. Hi. Over to you there, Whiskey Alpha 5 Romeo India Papa.
Thanks, Chris. This is Whiskey Alpha 5 Romeo India Papa, and drones are all over New Jersey. That's the big talk this week. And I don't know what all the puzzlement is about. Just 2 years ago, we had a China spy balloons coming across the entire United States country. We didn't do anything about them until they got past the country and got out into the Atlantic Ocean before they actually shot them down. I was like, well, that is kind of like having somebody break into your home, steal all your stuff, and then you shoot him when he's literally going out the back door. So I don't know what the big deal is, but everybody's up in arms about it. And of course, President-elect Trump is the man of action and wants to shoot it down. So we'll see how it goes. He's not in office yet. As a matter of fact, today he's at the Army-Navy game. I just saw him on TV. And Navy's in the league, so I'm a happy camper right now. But that's the way things go, I guess. Everything changes, especially in the election seasons. With that, I'll turn it back to you, Chris. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Yeah, he's just paid somebody to fly a load of drones with some lights on just so that he can get people worried and put more defence money into the budget. But, yeah, you never know. You never know. I was once told by somebody, yeah, if you want to spot a criminal, they're in a suit and tie and they sit on green seats. But, of course, yeah, we don't talk all too much about that, do we? But, yeah, gentleman's agreement that we don't, but, yeah, it's in the news, so we thought we'd mention that one, and those drones there, or UFOs, or whatever they think they are. So, right, the thing is, it's hard to spot an unidentified flying object nowadays, because you do have drones. So we go round to GW5 VOG, who makes crop circles in his spare time with anchor wood. Hi. No, I'm only joking. Over to you there, Steve.
GW5 VOG returning. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, no, I've never crop circled. Yes, I don't believe in crop circles either, and I think it's well known now that they were all forgeries. And just to sort of get a bit of publicity. I saw the thing about the drones, and it's got all the hallmarks of hysteria. Obviously, we're seeing drone attacks every day on the news in Ukraine and Russia, and it's hysteria. The Defense Department and I think most of the state governments who are involved have said they've got no record of any drones anywhere. I don't know if you remember, we had a little time in Britain where we had drone hysteria. People kept seeing them near Heathrow Airport and the other place, I've forgotten the name of them, by my old age, Gatwick. That's it. So the two main London airports, and they were cancelling flights on end because of these drones, but the army were called in and they couldn't find them, and everyone was saying, why can't they find them? And the answer is because they weren't there. It's just weird hysteria. Once somebody starts saying about it, people start looking in the air and they see them. Right, I also heard on Sky News this evening the story about the devices knowing too much information, the way they put it, that with all these, you know, the Internet of Things and all that, and all the smart plugs and stuff like that, everybody, you know, all these companies know everything about you, and that's not a good thing. And Chris, I think James was talking about the Grand Union Canal. If you Google the Grand Canal, you may get the Grand Union Canal, but you may also get the Grand Canal in Venice, which is probably the most famous Grand Canal in the world, and it's a little bit wider than the Grand Union. And I wanted to ask James, actually, what is the furthest that he's ever travelled in his narrowboat, just out of interest? Do you ever travel any significant distance? Okay, so with that, I will hand back to you, Chris. Yay, timed out. Back to you, Chris.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. So we googled Grand Union Canal, and we ended up with the Grand Union Canal passing in Westbourne Park, London. But of course, yeah, he is nearer Birmingham, so according to the little map, but he's not that end of it. But yeah, really interesting to find out how far he goes in it. Of course, a few years ago, before I left Gloucester and came back, so it is quite a few years ago, I actually had a mooring of a boat in Gloucester docks. And yeah, back then, it was a lot cheaper. It was about £1,500 for the year, and but like I said, you can't get car insurance and things like that for a boat, so you do need to use someone else's address. But they like to try and check it out as well. Yeah, they check social media and stuff like that. But of course, all they've got to do, I think, because you have got pictures of your boat on Facebook, is just do a Google reverse image of that boat, and because it's got the boat name on it, and then it'll see it, pretty much anything about that boat in a sense. So we'll go round to Rod G0 EUZ, and of course, yeah, who worries about people listening to us? They've been listening to us for years. GCHQ were, have been. And of course, yeah, it's to keep us safe, isn't it? That's the idea. It is to keep us safe. Is the idea behind it, and of course to keep the country safe. So what we'll do now is we will go round to G0 EUZ, but I have noted.
G0 EUZ entirely with what Monty said, really. I mean, if they want to listen to my boring life, well, they're welcome to it, you know. if they can stay awake. So there we go. But yes, you're right, Chris. I've many a time, I've been sat at the table discussing something, and the next time you look at your Facebook feed, it's full of adverts on what you've just been talking about. So yeah, there's definitely something there. But there you go. But talking about online Amazon, etc., I did all my Christmas shopping yesterday. The two youngest grandchildren to put the list in, and of course, as expected, one item which is actually a big item from one of the youngest grandsons is coming from China, so it will not be here for Christmas. But apparently he knew that when he thought about it. But we've only been asking for a month to put the list in plenty of time, because we have this every year. So there we go. Anyway, no problem there. What else was that? Yeah. Cooking. I wonder if you actually cooked on the boat, or have you got an Arger at home? So that sounds very interesting. But yeah, we usually have quite a long, protracted Christmas here. Would take the full week, and for the most part, my daughter and family come round to ours, apart from Christmas Day. But this year they're going up to the lodge at Mercy Marina in Burton-on-Trent, so we're going to be on our own for most of Christmas, I think, or the week in between. So we shall have to make plans. Back to you, Chris. M7CCS G0.
Yeah, Mike 7 Charlie Sierra, thanks very much there, Rod. So we are going to be going round to Andy now, and I'm trying to make things a little bit discreeter. So I'm going to present the screen now, and the blue curtain will disappear, and there is James's boat. So we're going to go round to James now. 2E0 Victor Whiskey Juliet.
2-0 Victor Whiskey Juliet narrowboat portable. Yeah, I can't quite. I haven't got the swing of the pictures you're putting up there on the YouTube. You'll have to teach me that bit, Chris. But yeah, the boat is on the Grand Union Canal, which goes between London and Birmingham, and I'm just north of Warwick, which is where Hatton Flights is. That's Hatton, Hatton Flight, and it's just above there, where there's a sort of a junction. It's called Kingswood Junction, and I'm actually on the Stratford Canal, which just runs parallel to it. But yeah, I'm a floater and I'm a boater. I float a lot, but sometimes when I do go out boating, I boat a lot. And I was out for all of October this year, and I went up to Manchester and then down the Shropshire Union through Royal Shropshire, coming through. I can't remember the name of the places now. Is it Market Drayton, places like that, and through Wolverhampton and across Birmingham to get home. And that was, I can't remember the exact figure, but it was in the region of 145 engine running hours, and a bit more litres of diesel than that, and about a similar figure of lock. So yeah, it was a trip. That was quite nice to do. But obviously I have to go back to work from time to time. And yeah, I cooked things or smart devices other than my phone and the laptop. But I totally agree. You can talk about a topic, and then you look on the screen, and there it is. And that's, I think that's just amazing for me too. So yeah, I'll keep it short because the internet connection isn't too fantastic. So I'll put it back to control from 2E0 VWJ.
Yeah, Mike 7 Charlie Sierra. So yep, of course, yeah, the live stream goes out on the YouTube. The YouTube is under my call sign. It's over a lot of Facebook actually, but yeah, the YouTube is just under my call sign, and the Ragchew goes out live on there, and it can be played again afterwards. So I said I was going to give a little bit of privacy. The reason for giving that privacy, I've got a blue curtain that I put across when I'm changing scenes, when I'm presenting, so that, yeah, when I zoom things in and stuff, I don't show too much Facebook information and stuff. Yeah, we've got, I've presented the picture of, which is your profile picture, with the beetle. I love that beetle and that colour. And those white walls. Yeah, so, yeah, the beetle and the front of the boat. And then, of course, yeah, there was the cover photo, which is the full boat, but it doesn't show the name of the boat. So, I presented it up on the live stream. I present things up as we talk, and, you know, people who are just listening on the YouTube and rewatch the Ragchew Net, because it's surprising. Yeah, I can sometimes look at it, and it'll have maybe about 9 or 10 views maybe through the net, and then I go back and look at it just before starting the next net. It gives me a little update weekly on the videos, and then it'll show me that people have rewatched the Wales Ragchew Net. So yeah, it's all pretty good there. So we're going to go around to Monty now, 2W1TER, Hopeful, and of course, yeah, round to you there, Monty, 2W1TER.
2 Whiskey 1, Tango Echo Romeo. Yeah, I was watching that drone thing with a bit of interest because I've got a drone, but it made me laugh because it's like, say, a bit of hysteria. But the chances are, it's like you'll phone your mate and go, God, there's UFOs in the sky or drones. So he'll send his drone up to go have a look. And then somebody will go, oh, look, there's a drone up there. I'll send my drone up to have a look. And then the boat down the road goes, oh, look at those UFOs. I'll send my drone up to have a look. And you've got 30 DJI drones flying around, all looking for these mysterious drones. And then some bloke was showing some of the pictures. And he's saying, well, this is obviously a helicopter. You zoom in and you can see like the landing pads, the skids, and the tail, and it's just crazy. Yeah, the Heathrow Airport drones, it never really happened, wasn't it? It's just technology hysteria, isn't it? It goes back to War of the Worlds on the radio, wasn't it? That was the first one. That was the most famous one anyway, where they had to stop the broadcast because people were phoning in saying they'd seen aliens. It's like, no, it's not a news show. But yeah, well, the other thing is, it could be the government have sent up 50 drones to see how well they can protect themselves from 50 drones. I mean, the British test fired this new laser last week, didn't we? That was pretty mental. That's taken us into the Star Wars era. Even America haven't got that. It's on the MOD site if you want to go look. Yeah, we've been 2 Whiskey 1, yeah, a bit of overtime there. Yeah, we've been test firing this new laser system up in Scotland somewhere, and it's bringing flying vehicles down. So yeah, Star Wars is here. 2 Whiskey 1, Tango Echo Romeo, back to control.
Yeah, Mike 7 Charlie Sierra. Yeah, and of course, yeah, I've heard about that laser. Well, I've seen it in action actually, but yeah, there's an auditor. I'm not going to say who they are. They are on YouTube. We are on YouTube as well, being, you know, streaming. But of course, yeah, I do watch the odd auditor, but they have to be certain auditors. And pretty much, yeah, you know, a couple of them that I watch, they take the drone over some things and stuff. If you want to cause mayhem, take a drone up in the middle of London, right in between the two no-fly zones. He decided to take a video of the Shard, and God, didn't he get a response from the police? But yeah, they didn't do it for that response. He just decided, right, I can take it up there, so I'm taking it up there. But he was doing one. He does a lot of film sets as well, and there was a Peaky Blinders live, and of course, yeah, he managed to get it, you know, so he wasn't flying over a crowd, because you're a drone flyer there, Monty, you know you can't fly over a crowd. Not a crowd of loads of people, because yeah, there's more danger if it drops out. But of course, yeah, he was flying from a distance. Of course, these new drones, that DG4 Mini, I think, has got a 4K 100 times zoom camera on it, so it doesn't matter if you're in their flight zone or not. But he was basically recording it and live streaming it on YouTube, and yeah, they sent a laser up into the camera. Didn't distract the flying of it, but it, you know, it stopped the camera being able to see. But yeah, you're probably right. They've probably sent up 50 drones. How can we deal with it? So it's probably a training exercise, and that's what they'll come out with in a couple of weeks' time. But of course they'll say, "Oh no, it's not. That's just a cover-up. That's a whitewash, etc., etc." So I did see on the dashboard, and I did send a picture of him in the log, and all I got was a thumb. So we'll see if we can call in City M7EMH, and then of course we'll be going round to do the 7-3 round after that. M7EMH. Okay, nothing heard from City. We'll see if we hear anything on the next one, but he's probably running across the caravan, tripped over some Christmas lights, bashed his head on something, and yeah, now he's covered in toilet roll with his head down the toilet. Hi. No, I'm joking. But yeah, I know that he was putting a 13 through. It was to open the TGIF, I think. Yeah, that's why he was about. So he might be around at the end. So we are going round for the last over and 7-3. It's actually come quite quick. It's crept up on me. But then again, I've been fed, I've been watered, and yeah, people will be pleased to know I had a cigarette before the net, but I haven't had one all the way through it. Couldn't find the pen to write down on the pad, so I couldn't take a pad with me. But I've been fed and watered while I was doing the net, so it takes your mind off it, doesn't it? We go round to Michael, Whiskey Arthur 5, Romeo India Papa, round to you for your last over and 7-3, as I'm about to bite into a piece of chicken pizza. Over to you then.
Thanks, Chris. This is Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa. It sounds like you're having a good time. Sounds like you've been watered and fed, so it's time for you to sprout, like a good plant does. Going back to the devices spying on you, I can always tell what my wife is shopping for on Amazon because it pops up on my Facebook feed just like it did Rod's. I also get reviews on YouTube for the various products that she's looking for. So, there's video selections. So, I can't say it's all connected, but it makes you wonder. As far as the drones go, I don't know if it was addressed before, but what I'm hearing is these drones are the size of one of my cars in the driveway, an SUV, which is a pretty good-sized vehicle. And so if it's over New Jersey, I don't mind them shooting it down because it's not a big deal. But if it's over my home, I surely wouldn't want them to shoot it down because I don't want to think about an SUV falling on top of my house. But these are not your standard drones, I would say, if they're that big and that heavy. Anyway, we'll move on to the next thing. I hope everybody has a great week. And enjoy the net. And Chris, I'm like you. It went by way too quick. I'm surprised it went so fast. But I'm going to head downstairs. My wife, I can smell her cooking black beans right now with a big chunk of ham in them. So that's probably going to be in the menu, if not today, tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it because the smell is delicious. And I'll turn it back to you, Chris. We want to say 73 to everybody. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you next Saturday. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, yeah, 7-3, and it did go quick, and of course, they do say that time goes quick when you're having fun. And of course it certainly seemed that, I can't remember which night it was now. It might have been last night, it might have been the night before. James will be able to remind me. I think it was last night. Last night, basically I heard James and a friend of his on Simplex. So of course I went in, as you do, because I've got the antenna to get there now. Of course, me and James ended up over on here on W.D.R.G. And then Simon cropped up, MW0 DSR, and his mother. I had some conversations with Simon and his mother there. Of course, finished with that. Then Ron came up, so I had a little over. But of course, the time flies when you're having fun. It's the next minute. Donna was coming home from her works party. It's all good. So we're going to go round to GW5 VOG. Steve, round to you for your last over and 7-3.
GW5 VOG returning. Thank you, Chris. I hope you can hear me okay, because my reception's been cutting in and out. I don't know why. Maybe, as you said, it needs updating. I'm not using PyStar. I'm on the Zoom spot that uses WDV, and there isn't any way to actually update the software, as far as I can see. What I've done in the past, when I've had trouble with it, I've deleted it and then reinstalled it, and then and that seems to be the way to do it. You can only update the contacts and the database for all the different digital modes on the dashboard of it. It's not anywhere near as good a dashboard as PyStar. You don't get as much information and that kind of thing. That's my thing. I just quickly say about Facebook. One thing that you've got to be careful of in this country, anyway, the tax people look at people's Facebook pages sometimes to see whether they've been on expensive holidays when they're claiming they haven't earned much money. So you've got to watch out for that. And of course, burglars will look at your Facebook. So don't post on it when you're away on holiday. Don't be tempted to post pictures saying lovely time here in Canary Islands, because then people will know you're not at home. Anyway, it's been a really nice net tonight. Not too big, not too small, but very interesting. So thanks to you, Chris, for running it, and see you next week. I've got visitors in the midweek this week coming up. My brother and sister-in-law from Manchester are coming to stay and exchange Christmas presents. But I'll be back for Saturday. Hello, everybody, and you all next week.
Yep, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, okay, 7-3 there. Returning to everybody now via Golf Bravo 3 GM, a repeater in Worcester. Of course, using the FTM 200 to get it. So we go round to Rod G0 EUZ for your 7-3.
G0 EUZ. Yeah, it's been a brilliant net tonight. Enjoyed it, and it's flown by. Yes, it's been good, and thanks for hosting it as usual, Chris. So what's this? A good week. Hopefully we'll catch you all next Saturday from G0 EUZ. Bye for now.
Yep, 7-3 there, Rob. Thanks very much, and I may catch up with you on Monday or Wednesday. Understood, isn't it? So, those that don't know, shortwave listeners on this network. City hosts the net on a Monday and a Wednesday from about 4:30 p.m. our time. Of course, yeah, it's a relaxed net, laid back, just wait for people to call in. Rod does normally join. Yeah, so, and James sometimes comes on as well. And sometimes Monty. We will go round now to James. 2-0, Victor, Whiskey, range to you for your last free. And I'm sure I'll catch you somewhere else in the week as well. Over to you there, James.
2-0 VWJ Narrowboat Portable. Yes, it's been a lovely evening on the net, and thank you, Chris, for carrying it there. And I'm sure the week, as usual, and I'll look forward to speaking to everyone next end. Although I am so that could be sketchy. And then the following, so I'll say, have a happy Christmas, everybody. And the following weekend will be, I should be back on. And then I'm away in my motorhome to Spain, which is when I shall then be totally reliant on YSF. So, interesting to report there. So I'll say 7-3's all, and I'll catch you further down the nets from 2-0, BWJ Narrowboat Port.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, not a problem there, James. Catch you later down the log. So, we're going to go round to Monty, 2W1 TER, in his living room. Over there anywhere, as the log says, for your 7-3 and last over.
Yeah, to what I go home. Yeah, 7-3's all, and interesting chats as usual. I did post a link on the Facebook page about the British laser weapon. It's quite impressive. It's worth a quick look at. It's not like a laser pen that's going to blind the camera. No, it'll take down an aeroplane. It's mental. It really is Star Wars. But yeah, all the best, and I'll see you all next Saturday, or maybe in the week, or maybe down the shops. Anyway, 2 Whiskey 1 Tango for going clear.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, thanks very much there, Monty. I've also added MW7ARE in. He is listening via YouTube. I've not pressed the enter button to give him the blue line there. So we'll go round to Sooty now, M7EMH for his 7-3.
Yeah, my 7, that's on my hotel, returning. And thanks for that, Chris. And yeah, I forgot to put 13 through, so TGIF was hanging about. Yeah, we've had a training day today, and then I've been doing a lot of running around tonight. So I caught some of the net whilst I was in the car, because I've been quite local, so not too bad. Nice to hear everybody on there. And yeah, pretty cool, sounded good. Did miss a few bits, obviously, because I was in places where I couldn't obviously take the car. I can't drive the car into somebody's front room, can I? But left it running, so that when I was zipping here, there and everywhere, I could still try and catch bits of it. And then you was almost right about the toilet roll, but it was a ginger cat and a big black dog I tripped over, trying to sort them out quick. Especially the ginger one, because he gets under your feet and he's so big now. He is a big lump. And of course, I try not to trip over him, but that makes it worse, doesn't it? So, yeah, quite funny. I did have a chuckle when you said about the toilet roll and everything else, Christmas lights. But there we are. Anyway, yeah, don't forget the next in the week. And as I said, good to hear from all of you. And I'm going to say 7-3s. Take the very best of care and catch you all later. And I shall be monitoring for a while, but how long for, I don't know. But 7-3s anyway. Take it easy, kids.
Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, thanks very much there, City, and yep, 7-3, but it comes a time where I say 7-3 as well, and of course I've put myself in the log, not at the top, but yeah, we evened it out, so it's all good there. So of course, yeah, nice easy net tonight. A few people, cover a couple of topics all covered there as well. Of course, you can come into the net in the week, and of course, yeah, thanks very much for joining us on the Wales Ragchew Net. So it's always good to have you there, and of course, yeah, the shortwave and on the radio. Yep, okay, call did Sunday good. Oh, I think that means it sounded good. We were from City there, but all good. So, 7-3 all, I'll catch you later in the week, and of course, put a thumb up. So,